Yeah. So I'll call to order the January meeting of the White Lake Library Board of Trustees at 6:48 p.m. Then I ask for the approval of the, or I am asking for the approval of the agenda in front of you.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Do I hear a second?
I have a second.
All in favor?
Yeah.
Aye, and none opposed. Ayes have it. And there's opportunity for public comment. Okay, no public comment. Then move along to approval of the agenda, the minutes of the special meeting of the White Lake Library Board of Trustees are in front of you. Entertain a motion.
We're doing special first.
We reviewed the prior month at the special meeting.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes. And I will second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, and on to officers' reports. I have no report today. Vice President?
Happy birthday, state of Michigan.
Awesome. Awesome. Secretary?
None.
Okay, treasurer's report. Pardon me. Glenn, would you like me to kick this
I
off?
would, please.
Okay. So we're transitioning Glenn into the treasurer role and haven't had time to go into detail over everything, but so you have in front of you the financial package, starting with governmental fund balance sheet, general fund. There. And that also includes the cash disbursements, both alpha and then check detail. Are there any questions about any of the bills or any of the reports?
I don't have a question except this document that you just. Are we going to review that now? Or we
No,
gonna do
it's
it in your
just
report?
you. It was, I believe, last meeting, someone asked for the final budget, which we already did. You already did. It's just for your information.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
I have no other questions.
So I would entertain a motion to approve the
I motion to approve the treasurer's report.
and do we hear a second? All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it. And anything else on the treasurer side? Okay, yep. So we should also note before moving that it will turn out to be inconvenient for Beth to be a signer on our accounts in the near term. And should note that she was an excused absence today. So to move forward on the signatories for the accounts, I would like to suggest that we keep the same list, which would be Gwen, Jen, and myself, but for each of the 4 accounts, but open to other ideas as well.
Do we typically have 3 signatories?
We typically have 3. We were kind of going for, just to, we add 1 so that we have kind of a backup. We need 2 signatures for each, for account for checks.
Gotcha.
There, and so sometimes getting 2 is a challenge when there's only 2 out of 3 there. So we were going for 4, so we could do a 4th one as well. But Beth is not available to sign the card at the moment, and so doesn't expect to be readily available in the coming months. So. So I would entertain a motion to correct that, to move forward.
I'll make the motions.
Okay,
All right. I'd like to make a motion to add Richard McGlue, Gwendolyn Newton, and Jennifer Schultz as signatories to PNC Bank.
okay. Do we have a second?
I will second that motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Are you doing all the banks separately?
Yeah.
Yes, they have to be.
Yeah.
So, question, previously you had Beth on the motion.
I
Right,
think we have to officially say we have Beth. We will be removing Beth from the,
yes,
Okay, well, let me
Yes.
restate it.
thank you.
Okay. I would like,
Because I think that when
Oh.
we take the meetings to the bank, they're gonna require that.
you're right. Yeah,
Okay,
good,
so
good catch. Thank
let
you.
me restate that. We'll do it over. Okay, I'd like to make a motion to have Richard McGlue, Gwendolyn Newton, Jennifer Schultz as signatories to PNC Bank, and to remove Beth Rubis from PNC as a signatory from PNC Bank.
I will second that motion.
Thank you.
All in favor of the restated motion?
Aye.
Aye.
No opposed? No opposed? Can you make them then the motions for other accounts?
There you go. Now, I would like to make a motion to add Richard McGlue, Gwendolyn Newton, Jennifer Schultz as signatories to Flagstar Bank, and to remove Beth Rubis as a signatory from that Flagstar Bank.
I will second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay.
Ayes have it.
I would like to make a motion to add Richard McGlue, Gwendolyn Newton, Jennifer Schultz as signatories to Genesis Credit Union, and to remove Beth Rubis as a signatory from Genesis Credit Union.
I will second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Jen, are you voting?
Yes.
Not voting? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so you're abstaining.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm good.
You're good.
Yes, I'm a yes. Thank you. Sorry. I had someone calling me that I don't recognize the number. I called me sometimes, so I'm wondering if I should. All right. I was distracted. I would like to make a motion to add Richard McGlue, Gwendolyn Newton, Jennifer Schultz as signatories to Lake Michigan Credit Union, and to remove Beth Rubis as signatory from Lake Michigan Credit.
I will second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Okay,
That's all the banks I know.
thank you. And we also had take a look at the under the or the
Last page.
last page of the finance report of the account balances. We have in the PNC Okay, so, in PNC checking, we have 865,158.47 at the time of the end of the month, or as of the 21st. So most of that, is coming from taxes collected. So we have an opportunity to move some of that to an alternate account to earn something. There.
So do we have to move, should we be moving something today? Or are you looking for the paperwork that I was going to talk to you about? And or should we look at moving it into this local government investment plan? Do we have to make a decision?
You don't have to make a decision tonight. You could just make the suggestion that everyone look at it for next month, and you could
Okay, so
do it then. If the interest rate isn't that much different, you could keep it in PNC for the month if you want.
okay,
Or you could, generally, we transfer some to Flagstar, most of it to Flagstar, and then as we need it at the end of the summer, we'll transfer some back into PNC.
okay. So we could decide to make a transfer today to Flagstar and then look at this.
Mhm.
And there would be no penalty at Flagstar to
No.
move it in a month. Okay. All right. So when we do this kind of movement, what's usually, is there a standard amount that we do a move to?
Well, we would want to keep in checking enough to cover the bills for the next month and longer there. So with if we had if we kept 300,000 in the checking, would be more than good for.
There will be some more coming in
Yeah.
through February
There will be.
Mhm.
Okay.
in PNC.
Okay, so if we made a decision to retain 300,000 in PNC and move the remaining to
Yeah,
Flagstar, that would be appropriate.
it's, yeah.
amount?
Mhm. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, Flagstar has under 300,000 today, so I would put 0.15%. That's surprisingly low number these days, but they've been that way for a long time.
Should be going up.
Yeah,
Along with inflation.
yeah. Yeah.
It's supposed to.
If
So-
inflation goes up, then interest rates better go up. And there's a problem with it.
We'll expect those, but in any case, you want, so if we, you want to do 500,000 to Flagstar, or is that?
Is that the appropriate amount, or do we want to do 565?
You could do that.
Jen, are you looking at the last page?
I mean, we may as well get a little bit, yeah.
Okay. All right, so do I need to make a motion for that?
Actually, someone else should.
Because I'm treasurer.
Mhm.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to move $565,000 from PNC to.
Mhm.
Is that enough?
I'll second that.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Okay.
Okay. Um, To the agenda. Okay, on to the director's report.
Oh, boy, that name really on the computer doesn't look that good. Sorry about that. I can't read it. The current service model is similar to what it was at the last meeting, except for we have virtual programs through the end of this month. And then we'll be doing our virtual, hybrid, and in-person meetings starting next month, with the exception of wagging tutors. That's very, we are doing it. It's only a few people, and it's very, it's working out that we can do it. So, had a couple of questions about our need to close twice and also move to curbside for 2 weeks. And basically we had 2 outbreaks within the staff of COVID, same department. And we just, I was personally worried about not having any staff for a while. So I pointed out in our meeting, our special meeting in beginning of January, that might be that was a concern of mine. As it turns out, they did trickle back in with no other infections, and we're back to full staff as of today. As far as the people that were out ill, I was not made privy to who they may have not infected or anything like that from not being here, but I'm just glad that it didn't continue. In general, I wouldn't say, we had positive support about needing to do that, and from most of the public, we had a few people complain they didn't understand the need for us to do that. It was more of a myosha thing too, that we have an obligation to keep our employees safe, and if we don't do that, then we could have problems. So that was the reasoning behind our move. Most of the staff are comfortable with moving back to having the blended programming and or in person. The hope is that we'll have most people masking if they're going to be close to others, especially our staff, so that the few that are concerned aren't exposed unnecessarily. And I realize that there's different viewpoints on masks, whether they work or not, but when you're in that situation, you want to have anything protect you. But legally, we cannot ask someone to have a mask on. And we're not going to ask them. We'll suggest, but and hopefully our employees will accept that. We don't know who's had it recently, who has their shots, who doesn't have their shots, immunizations. What else do we have? I did earlier, was it this week or was it late last week? I sent out a pretty extensive memo on the new CDC guidelines on that were updated recently based on everything that's happening with COVID and Omicron and things like that. I had intended on sending that to you, so you have it to see what they got. And, it took me a while. I did it. Things haven't changed all that much, but they have changed. So we sent that out and asked for everyone to return the email saying that they received it, so that we're make sure everybody knows what they can be doing. Hopefully they don't do it, but you know, again, and most everybody is. I shouldn't say they're not. I'm not saying they're not. I'm just saying that we're not mandating vaccinations. We're saying that they're saying the recommendation is that it should help you from not getting serious illness if you do it, or infecting someone else that might be important to you. But they do have that. That was received pretty well. Most people were glad to see it. As far as communicating to the public when we need to make change in service, first thing we do is usually do Facebook first, and then we change the sign outside, and then website gets changed. I generally do not send out an e-newsletter to the 5,000 subscribers we have, because I don't want to barrage them with things that maybe they don't need to see or don't want to see, or it's just not a vehicle for that kind of message. However, when we did open back up early, I did send out one, which you guys should have got.
Yes.
Recently. And it wasn't your typical newsletter that has all the programs that are listed and trying, to get interests generated, or service changes that are additional services or opportunities. But this one was just letting them know. Let's see, what else do we have here? Any other questions, guys? No, just gotta leave it back open. Yes, I am too. I'm not planning on needing to close anytime soon. Okay, so let's move on. Financials, the audit is started. When I say start, we have to do some paperwork to get things sent out to our banks, and initial disclaimers and permissions and things like that. State aid, Amy's worked on that. It's almost done. It'll be sent out tomorrow. A few things I have to add to it. Because of COVID, there were extra questions that that took more time. It's interesting information though on how this past year was different from, actually we're reporting on 2020 right now. So there is a difference in statistics because we closed in March and we were closed for so long. I have another a regular e-newsletter going out next week. Millage related, it's pretty much consensus now, since there hasn't been any action. There's not enough time to change it. It's going to be, the primary will be in August, and the regular election will be in November. So if for the renewal that you need to put on the ballot, there's a couple of key dates. If you want to look at this kind of lengthy
Election dates.
Michigan election dates right here. I'll give you anything you want to know about the election.
Okay.
But we have, well, I highlighted and you can't see it now. If you go to page 3,
Yeah, the August 2nd.
August 2nd, yeah. And then you go to page 7. You must have your ballot wording in to local clerk or county clerk. On the 10th of May. Then another key date is June 18th is when the absent voter ballots will be delivered to the township and then they mail them out. So as of last election, many people voted early, and I would like you to know that it's good to get some information to the voters prior to when they get their absentee, because if you wait until closer to the election, they may have already voted and not have the right information.
So when we turn in this ballot wording to, I'm assuming it goes to the township. Or
It can go to either. Our attorney said that it's okay to go to Oakland County, and that's probably
Okay,
what we should do.
okay, so, but don't they have to, will they come back and tell us if anything, they think there's anything that needs to be changed? Just something simple, what if we had a misspelled word? Do they
We have
track
to,
any of that?
we have to catch that.
We have to catch it, and
Okay. So
it's
we-
usually drafted by the attorney.
Okay.
When we have no, and we're gonna look at it. We can send it in a little early and ask them for feedback. But
Okay.
generally, it's,
So we wouldn't anticipate getting it back, is my point. So once it's submitted, it's something that then we could start disseminating information to
absolutely.
the community. That was my point.
Mhm, mhm. You can do it before that too.
Okay. I'm assuming we're gonna put it in the e-newsletter
Mhm,
and
mhm. We are allowed to put and encouraged to put information about the ballot proposal, factual information. Anything voting, asking for a vote, yes, is not something that we can do legally. That would be for a ballot committee that has separately fundraised to put that request out to the public. And it's usually about 10 people that volunteer to do that, and they do the whole thing, pretty much. With support, we have a message that we'll give them, and then they are able to say, please vote for this because whatever. I can talk to you more about it another day.
Is it on the 8th because it's like the first Tuesday after the first Monday? Do you know, in November? Do you know?
Probably,
I was
yes.
just curious why it's at the first and I don't. I think there is some time.
That is for November,
November, yeah.
is the first Tuesday, so it's not on November 1st.
Maybe because of Halloween.
November 1st is Tuesday. The first Tuesday is November 1st. And I thought, well, why isn't it November 1st? And then I
Right.
thought,
Oh,
maybe it's the first Tuesday after the first Monday.
it is the first, yeah, no, that's. built
In the
into-
first full week is what first full week.
No, it's the first Tuesday after the first Monday. So it can be on the 3rd. It was,
That would be the next one.
well, no, it was a conflict with All Saints Day,
Okay.
which is the day before,
yeah.
I
the
was
day
just
after
curious.
Halloween.
That really has nothing to do. It's hard to wonder out
It just-
loud.
Oh,
Just doesn't happen.
But the,
No, it doesn't.
historically, the libraries run their millage request in August. Just in case there's an issue, we have another opportunity in November.
Okay.
I will tell you that there is a move to have just a November election for any millages. And I guess the rationale is the thought that there's more people that vote at that time. Not necessarily for White Lake. And we do like to have an extra time in case there's a problem.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And I think the schools are in the same position.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, well, a lot of time they do May elections for the
Yeah.
schools.
Well, that was historical based on they were separate for many years and
Yes, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
and that ties with their school year. If they
Makes
get with,
sense.
looking.
So we don't have to draft the language for this, the attorney will draft.
The
language.
attorney will draft it. What you'll have to decide is what you want to include in it. So is it going to be a straight renewal, just asking for continuation of what we have, which is, I think it's about 0.43.
Okay,
Well, I'm not sure. You have the opportunity of combining our operating millages together so that it's, we don't have to have, and the community isn't subject to having a vote every 4 years about the library in little pieces. It does take a lot of effort on the part of the community and the library just to do that. There's also the thought that some of the millage has been rolled back because of the Headley Amendment. And many places have requested for that to be reinstated, yes. It gets especially problematic if and when property values go down, because you're getting, well, that's not even the point right now, but there is some value to that as well. Each step, each different kind of scenario adds more risk to this. Generally, renewals are, as long as you're not doing a terrible job, you usually get a renewal. To ask for more is more work.
Or working more risk.
More
Yeah,
work.
and so
And I'm not
combining-
advocating for more. I'm just putting out the options that there's merit to each type of scenario. And
So the combining would not be considered a renewal, it would be a
totally new.
new
Mhm. Yeah.
millage. It would replace others.
It would
but-
replace it, yes.
but-
We have to communicate that out.
Yeah.
It's one
And
of those where it replaces, but it's no new taxes, correct? No increase in taxes.
yes, you could do it that way, or you could do it asking for the reinstatement of what's been rolled back. too. So I guess there's 4 scenarios.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So next meeting, I'll give you some more information. I'll talk to the attorney. Want me to do that? See what,
That makes sense. Let's,
we don't really have to make a decision at this moment if we would change the way we anticipated doing this in August, because in August, we just anticipated doing a renewal.
Possibly, we can do whatever you
We can do
want.
whatever we want. We
Right,
have to
but-
decide which of the four.
Do we want to discuss that
Not now,
meeting, or do we want to discuss it the next?
next meeting. I'm informing you in my director's report. That's something that's on the radar. We've been talking about it for months now, so I was concerned that it might be in June rather than August. So that the time frame would be a little bit.
We just need to vote on the language. Okay, submission date.
Yeah, that would be-
Or we could do it in a March meeting, right?
Mhm.
Okay, would probably be the best. Okay.
Okay, the sunshine one, obviously you don't have that. I will have it for you.
Which,
Are you? can you put a big sunshine one? For the library, for the continuing education.
Yes.
Thank you. The Michigan Library Association, good news, you guys are all members now. Oh, without having to pay for it.
I was gonna ask you about
Yeah.
oh, wow.
Okay.
And I expect we have one member that's a paid member, and I think we're gonna get our money back, so.
I was gonna ask you about that at this meeting.
About that you
Yeah,
heard
because-
that they were gonna do it, or
Yes,
you
I
want to?
did.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, they haven't really been, unless you're in the know, you don't necessarily, I heard it, and it's like, I better check into that. It's been a couple months, I think, since the last conference, I assume. That's normally when
Okay.
they vote on it.
When they vote on it?
Yeah,
Okay.
and I didn't go to that meeting because it was virtual
So is it trustees of all public libraries?
and up to 8 people. So if you're a district library, you get 8.
Oh,
Very nice.
Mhm.
Very nice.
Mhm.
Well, I think their webinars are fabulous.
Yes, they are, and as Library of Michigan's. They really, I think they do a good job.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, and the Michigan Library Association, they just sent something. Shoot, I signed up for one this month. It's
Oh.
coming up. And that was what prompted me. It actually, I don't know what it is. I'll have to look.
Oh, there's the
And
one
it's-
from,
And was free,
mhm,
so I thought, okay, well, I'll sign up for this, and then I'm gonna ask.
okay.
So.
There is the one from the Library of Michigan that is on financial management.
There's a new MLA.
MLA one too. I offhand, I don't know. Amy's looking it up.
I just signed up for it last week.
Okay.
And I can't remember exactly what the. You know what, it's actually, they're gonna do virtual and in person.
And in person.
They had breakout sessions in it.
Hmm.
So. It's the end of February. I know that much.
Okay.
And I
I'm not sure.
apologize that I don't remember what
Sure.
actually it is, but I thought, oh, I do want to attend.
So, staff. Now we're going to talk about the new director search in old business. I am going to be retiring end of April, so there's a search committee. Just making the statement. Some people might not have heard that, but it is, staff knows, and some people know about it, but so this first part came from Heather, then we have a little bit from Amy. We did do a total compensation letter beginning of the month, January, which just basically told people their new salary and what the value of some of their benefits are.
Okay.
I thought about putting a copy in, but I didn't do it I will, I think everybody but you, did you guys see one last year? Yeah, who, is that yours?
Yeah.
Okay, duh. You're good, Heather. Okay, so that's what they look like.
Okay.
I think people appreciated them. They're kind of tedious, but it helps to point out what they actually get. EAP, we got a new employee assistant program. We had paid through December 31st with the township, so we kept that one until we were the end of the year, and now we are part of a TLN group. That was put together last spring by TLN, by the executive director primarily, and we got information on that actually yesterday, finally. Not finally, but we got information on it, and it looks like a really good tool to offer for a very low price. So that's a good thing. They have a really good app. And if you're interested in more, I can bring it next time. It's in Compass. You can go online and look at it. You want to talk about your place?
Excuse me. We have 2 new employees, Deb Tenbush. She has been a big player in if you're familiar with the Malcat system, she was one of the first implementers of it. So you used to see Deb Biggs all the time on everything. She was one of the trainers. She's trained how most of the staff back in the day when we were learning it. So she's actually out there tonight. So many of you may have met her. And then she left the library world for a little bit and went to work for a vendor and has come back and she missed working for library. And then Jacob, and I'm not even going to try to say his name. He's told me 3 times and I still can't say it. Jacob. He's going to work every Friday and every other Saturday. He also works at the Clarkston Independence Library. And he's taking over the Seed Library. He and Emily are working on it. We're going to launch it in March. Deb's going to work on the large print collection. She's getting up to speed on ordering and everything and taking over that. So they're both pretty great so far, and we're enjoying having them there. We did some interviews for the head of adult services. We do have a job offer out, and we have some discussions about that. Denise and I have some discussions that we need to do from some going back and forth. So we'll have more report on that next month.
Technology, just briefly, we're going to be updating computers with new Windows 11 and Office 2021. This question about any other programs haven't really been, to my knowledge, asked for anything else. Not to say we can't add it, but
Do we have somebody in the library that has actually installed Windows 11 and used it before we?
Mike Shackelford is our consultant, the guy from MTS, and he has kept us away from it for a while.
For good reason.
Yeah. Have you been fighting with it?
We aren't even allowing it in the company I work for at the moment.
Really?
They're
Okay.
considering it, but
Good to know.
they've tried a couple times and rolled it back.
Mm.
So that's why I'm just bringing it up. I'm not sure that, as long as you have a tech person that's well aware and can assist all your staff.
Mhm.
We did get the pop-ups that everybody probably got. You're eligible to upgrade to Windows 11. I've told everybody, do not do it. Do not do it. Mike has said it's not ready for what we need it. And it's not ready for prime time.
I would agree, so I'm a little, I'm just,
Do we, I don't know if you noticed it, for 2021, do we have to have Windows 11?
No.
Oh, we'll talk.
I
don't wanna do anything
I
ahead
don't
of
know
time.
a lot about it. I know that my personal PC was, and my work PC was being targeted to be, because I am a beta user for our company. In that decision was revoked.
Hmm.
So.
Even to be a beta, or that you just, you
No,
worked on it, so
they
you.
decided that they're going to wait a while longer to roll out Windows 11.
Okay.
So
He has all the Microsoft certifications, so
he's well.
he's also way up to, so, yeah.
So he
same thing.
he probably gets all the tech notifications.
Yep.
So he'll be well aware. And I'm sure when he decides that it's time to do that, I would take his advice.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be bleeding edge. He doesn't want us to be the discoverer of problems. He wants us to have a nice,
And that's what we
easy
want.
day. So
Sure.
he doesn't
We
want to do
want.
anything that's going to make our life more complicated or not run.
Right, because it's supposed to be there to support your work, not
Right,
cause.
Yep.
absolutely.
Right. And we
Um,
know that everything that you're using today on your computers is compatible with Windows 11.
That's why he said, don't do it. So
Okay.
no, some of it is not.
Okay.
We don't need our website going down. If it's not, migrated or something like that. So I'm not sure about the
I
circulation
don't think that's
system.
an issue for the website.
But no, he won't, he would not have us install it until he was.
Okay.
completely
So, but
confident.
he's totally vetting it against all of your applications you have out there today.
We don't have that many. so.
Okay.
Yeah, more and more, everything is a website rather than
Exactly.
an app.
Then security. Bottom line, we had a problem. We've had problems for the last year and a half.
When Flash was.
Go ahead and just do it
Okay.
briefly if you can.
The software that we were sold and installed used Flash. When
Oh.
Flash was killed, no longer supported, not available, we were lucky enough that our technician has a flash drive and a computer that still can upgrade our system. But at some point, he's either gonna lose the flash drive, I don't know,
Mhm.
or he's gonna use the one computer that is still usable and he keeps it separate for customers like us. We did have a problem. He was able to restore the system, so I couldn't make fobs for people, or we could get in and out, but I couldn't make fobs for new staff. So he was able to get us up and going after a discussion with him and Denise. We'd rather do it on our terms, versus the system's dead. We can't get in and out of the building. We need you right now. So we had ADT come back and do a proposal to upgrade to their now supported software, which is a Honeywell, I believe. And so that we don't have to worry about, it's all web-based, that we don't have to worry about not being able to get into the building because the software has died and there's nothing we can do.
Unfortunately, we bought the system from Security Corp. We were going through negotiations with them late 2018. And it was implemented it was March 2019. End of 2019, ADT bought Security Corp. And
Well, if it relied on Flash, Flash was killed
Yeah.
yeah, so
before we bought it.
that wasn't a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
They didn't mention it.
yeah, so yeah. But we got a quote right around $3,400, which is actually less than I thought it would be.
To upgrade to the ADT
Mhm.
security. Okay, so security software. So does it have to be connected to the web to be able to use it?
Pardon?
Well, that's
That's
one
how
thing I
I'll
wanted
answer.
to do it. Want to be able to see cameras off of our computers if we needed to.
Okay, I guess my concern is if it's only web enabled or if it's, and it was an internet connectivity, or can you see, so you're here and you, because you're.
Rather than being able to see it out of the building as well? So what you're saying?
Oh, I'm concerned about if it's only available via an internet connection, then if the internet went down, you wouldn't be able to see it at all. But if it's an intranet, where it's internal into our network here at the library, you'd be able to see it if your wide area, your internet was down.
Is it,
Okay.
it's installed.
Does that
here,
make
isn't it?
sense?
It's a what?
It's
Is
installed.
it
here.
installed or is it all web-based by going out to ADT?
It's installed on a computer here.
Okay, thank you.
I
Rich,
think we have
Rich
both,
asked
we
the
have
question
both
better than I did.
capabilities.
It's both capabilities.
have both
'cause-
Okay. My concern was it being only internet available and then
Yeah.
losing internet connection.
And then you can't open the door. Yeah,
Correct.
Yeah. And no, it's-
That's why we also have a couple keys. We have an old fashioned key to get in.
Okay, and then that's actually good to know.
Okay. Facilities, Nate put this together. He's been busy with there being,
So can I go back? So that software is less than what you anticipated?
yeah,
it was going to be.
and I'm over 5,000, then we need to talk about it more, but I'm just
Okay.
gonna
All
go
right.
ahead and unless you guys say no. Right, specifically say no, then we just go ahead and.
Okay.
The only thing that changes, we use the same fobs, we use the same keypads, just the
Excellent.
software changes.
And we also got a big bill, which I don't want to have, we shouldn't have to have again, so it's cost savings in that. That was- Okay, third page, facilities, Nate's been busy with taking care of the floors with the salt, which is good. And the sidewalks and extra COVID cleaning and no major building issues. No.
So we're gonna restripe the parking lot.
Yes, in
Yeah.
the spring, yeah. I was surprised that it went so fast, but
Yeah, but it's clearly,
yeah.
it's difficult to see the lines.
Yeah, and we thought about doing it in the fall, but without,
Yeah.
just wait till the spring and have. Not go through the winter of getting the striping. All right, then we have township news. The second one, I'm not gonna really, we don't don't really want to discuss right now because I don't have that information on that. I think it may be nothing, and I may have misinterpreted it, but I did watch their last board meeting, the township board meeting, and there was discussion about the property right next to the library, next to the big adult patio, and there is they did approve a zoning change from agriculture to, yeah, you know about it, to RM2, which is, could be an apartment.
Yes, it could be up to 3 stories. Yes. RM2 is residential.
Multifamily.
Multifamily, and it can be up to 3 stories.
I heard them say it can be 2 stories or 33.
Okay.
And
I was
and
not
so-
in the meeting.
No, but
I just had them.
they did discuss it,
Yes.
and it seemed like it could only be 2, even though some people thought it was 3. I'll clear, or you can,
Well,
yes.
somebody
Still
on
apartments.
our neighborhood board put all the information out.
Okay. So they did approve it. I did get a request from the company that does the land analysis. And I did provide some of the studies that or permission that they could use our studies from our land, which is typical.
Mhm.
With with statement, and I said, we have a nice border of trees as a, not like a fence, but a nice shield so we don't necessarily have to see what's going on over there, and hopefully that it will be retained.
So are those trees, you know, that we have as a barrier, a buffer?
A buffer, yeah. Mhm.
Are they on the library property?
We have some on our very thin line on our
Okay.
property, and then there's also, our property basically goes to in the south part of on the west, the very west, if you're going out the back of the library. It goes pretty far to the stream that goes through there.
Okay.
It's it goes, it's pretty high and then it goes down, and it's not real walkable right now. It could be something in the future, but it goes pretty far.
Okay.
And with all this development, we might be one of the only places that has a nice.
Besides Stanley. Is it gonna be called
Stanley
Stanley
Park.
Park? Yes.
Stanley Park, that's nice.
It's gonna be.
There'll be trees. There'll be trees there. It's just, I just put that out there, and
Well, hopefully the developer will be a good neighbor.
they were talking that they will be a good neighbor, and that other developments recently have had nice buffers of trees. So if I'm not here, you guys heard it, and you can talk to them about it, because I think because we're all going to be in this area, that they'll be asking for some things that they should.
Mhm.
So I think, but.
Well, I mean, there's no doubt it's all gonna be developed,
Mhm,
and that was the intent.
mhm.
And, you know, the nicer the aesthetics, the better.
Yeah.
Right, for everybody
Exactly.
involved.
Exactly. Okay.
Maybe within walking distance of the library.
And yes, and I can't remember how many residents they thought that they were potentially gonna hold there.
Hmm.
I think they said the amount of, and I could be wrong, but I think that the maximum would be approximately 1,600.
Wow.
Yeah.
We'd have a walking population
That's what I was
and
thinking.
a riding population.
Yes, I was thinking, oh, look at all
Be a
the
big
people that
selling
could just
for people.
walk to the
Yeah.
library.
Yeah, a lot of people be happy about that.
I think a lot of people would be happy with that.
I did actually meet someone that we just hired that actually rode her bike to the old library.
I used to ride my bike to the old library all the
Did you?
time. I
Yeah.
can't get to this one.
Well, if we had the pass parking, I could
Yeah.
pass the mill, you know, but everybody drove it on the millage for how many years ago?
Yeah.
You know, that we still don't see those bike paths down on 59, right? I would love to.
So
Then you
That's-
ride your bike.
that's that. That's my
Okay.
report. Any other questions? You're welcome. Any other questions? Okay. Thanks. We did give you this nifty little infogram.
Yes.
You saw it?
Good, so,
We put that together, and we'll be tweaking it to make it a little, less jargony,
thank you.
but I thought it was nice to use this for more information.
Only 6,500 people we signed into Wi-Fi. Is that 6,500 visits? Or is it 6,500 unique? Looking at Amy, I'm thinking she would know the answer to this.
It's on the,
Bottom right.
64, 67 people signed into Wi-Fi, or those
That's in the
individual devices?
logins. Because per month we get about 600, 700.
Okay,
It's not a lot.
That's not very many.
Max, they just use their cellular, so.
yeah,
exactly.
Even though we tell them, please use, like,
yeah.
I don't think I have a connect when I come in here.
it's in the statistics page, how many
Yeah,
statistics are somewhere in here.
And I have to say, my family has done a lot of hoopla and a lot of, oh my gosh. A little more than I would necessarily always like, but hoopla is great. So whoever decided to bring it to the library, thank you. And overdrive is an obsession at my house right now. Oh, yes.
Yeah. That's one benefit of being close to the curbside, that let people look at what we have
Yes.
online.
Yeah.
And we do
Yes.
have a lot to offer. a
So,
ton.
you know, actually I had a complaint, and this is unfortunate, I had a complaint that we could only download Hoopla 4 times.
Ah.
So there were some bargaining chips going on at our house for, you know, people's library card
Oh, yeah.
to do a little more hoopla, so.
Okay,
Yes, so whoever instituted that at our library, I just want to thank you, because it has been
It is a good-
very, very handy.
And I'll just tell you, 4 was a huge bargaining between all of us because we have to pay for every single download that somebody does.
Right.
So not to blow the budget, and we talked to multiple libraries so 4 was like, how many can everybody who has a library card have and not kill our budget? And then we had to be realistic, you know, so.
I think it's
yeah.
more than enough,
Yeah, so there's some great stuff there, so yeah.
but
so-
it is fabulous. It really is.
It's
So,
one a week, unless you need it, and I do it all on the list. You have 3 downloads left, okay, 3 more books.
on this contact sheet,
Yes.
yes.
did everybody look at theirs? And is this what they want on it?
And I input everybody's in my phone file.
Yay.
Yes.
Um,
The public document or is this a document?
It's within the group and the library, if certain instances. It also is available online through state aid report and a couple other things, just so you know,
Well, and through the county.
and through the county.
Right.
When you're an elected official.
What I put down when I do the others.
That's correct.
Correct, okay. This is.
So everybody good with it?
Yeah, I am.
Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you. We'll check on Beth's and then we'll put a date on this thing, and if you need to change it, just let us know. I want to change it, but I remember how hard it is to make sure everybody was contacted. I know how hard it is to make sure everybody gets communication, so kind of have to make sure you also let us know. Where are we at?
Okay.
New business.
Um,
And then we'll just do
New business, Oakland County Investment Fund.
Okay, there is a handout on this. Yeah, we did.
Just briefly.
So this is what you want to look at over the next one. Unless you want to talk about it, Brian? No,
I haven't had an opportunity to actually go online and read more about it, and I will, and we'll talk about it next month. You know, if the interest rate is better than what we have in any of the other savings accounts, you know, I would recommend that we give it a try.
So this would be an alternative to
thanks.
some of the banks
Yes,
there, so there'd be an opportunity to.
it is, the interest is better. It's managed by the Oakland County. And they do a good job about trying to get good rate. They have more money to be able to.
Okay.
Okay.
So when we normally do a CD, how long do we do a CD for?
Depends upon what you have to figure out when we would need the money.
Okay.
So if it's,
In the past, it's been pretty short because we
Okay.
need it. Now we have a fund balance that maybe might,
But are we talking short, like 90 days, 180
no.
days?
I think the longest we've had is a year,
Okay. Okay.
but now that we had that big donation, you may want to be able, you could
Potentially do it.
have a little bit longer.
Okay.
And then they may not even have these CDs. You actually put it in a pool. This is a pool and they'll invest it and then everybody gets their share of the rewards.
Okay. I'll take a look at it.
Just out of curiosity, do we know other libraries or municipalities do?
Milford does, who is also a client of our accountant, so he's familiar with how we do things. It's actually, yeah. But I know that I'm aware of other libraries that use it too.
Okay.
So we should add this to old business for next month.
Yes.
Yes.
I could put personnel committee report on here, just I don't know if you want to,
Yeah.
you had anything to talk about?
Yeah. So, as you know, we, at the special meeting, approved the executive search or a library director search for using John Keister, if I'm saying that right.
I believe so.
Keister,
Keister,
I think
think.
Keister, sorry, John. There, and John is, I think, contacted everyone to get some feedback about what we would be looking for in the new director and what would our sort of vision of the role be. So we gave you some questions, but you're not limited to, answering those 3 questions, and, feel free to expound there. And that's something we can, if people are ready to do that, we could also open the floor to have some discussion on that here, and what people would be expecting. Or if you may want to, put your thoughts on paper and send it in, so whatever people feel like.
Did the 3 of you get the questions from John, or did they just go up? to the-
No, we did.
Okay.
It actually came out to everybody in the board.
Yeah,
Yeah, everybody on the board got it.
Yes,
Okay.
very good, yes.
Every staff member got 4 questions.
Okay.
They-
Yeah.
Right.
And then Amy and Leah and Kim, the administrative
Mhm.
people, all had a meeting today. I guess it went well.
Good.
So I also asked him to have a meeting with Heather Clark and Heather Stacy, separate.
Great.
day.
I think the more information you get is stuff.
When did that go out?
I'll have to look.
Last week,
Yeah.
Yeah, it
It
was.
went to my spam folder.
I was gonna say. I
Oh,
didn't
and it
see
did not mine, luckily, but it was early last week,
What's the
Jen.
name?
John Keith.
Keister,
Keister.
Keister. And he did send it to everybody in the board. So,
did you put him in your contacts now?
Oh, yeah, I replied to him. so.
Okay, so then,
so we have been, the personnel committee has been in communication with him. And we're going to actually have a meeting with him as a crew. So I'm trying to look, Jen, to tell you exactly what day it came out.
Yeah, I got your note, but I never got his note, so I'll check my spam folder.
Okay.
Yeah, Karen, you said yours, it
Yeah,
went to
mine was in
spam.
the
so-
spam folder. I rarely look at it, and then I was for about 3 days later, going, oh my goodness, I'm better answer this.
So I already missed the opportunity for it.
No, you have not missed the opportunity for input at all. And we would appreciate it if you gave them input.
Yeah.
Very much so. And I think it was January. It was before the 20th. Was it the 12th?
it was last week,
Yeah.
because I know when I sent out probably Tuesday or Monday or Tuesday of last week. I think, or maybe before that, maybe Friday of the
I
previous week.
found an attachment on one of these notes and it says January 13th.
That sounds right. That does sound right. It was January 13th. Yes,
So I replied directly to John.
Yes.
please do. Yeah.
And
Yeah, we'd like everybody to have the opportunity to apply, reply to him personally. And then the committee is putting together our, you know, wish list of what we're looking for out of those questions that he asked, and we had some discussions about that. And we're gonna discuss those with him and present them to him. And so the little bit of communication we've had with him has been, I think, very positive, and he's been very reactive, which is great. Because I was a little concerned about, you know, timing, so it seems like it's okay. So I think, Rich, we actually want to propose
Yeah.
an offering salary range, correct?
So, yeah, maybe we could talk about that. It's, so we looked, so I think everybody's seen the DLRSC, I'm butchering.
DLRST, Detroit Library Suburban Roundtable.
Right.
So it's a, you know, a survey that went out to all of the libraries and looking at a lot of different things, salaries being one of them. And so, you know, we looked at libraries of similar size to ours, and
Budget wise.
budget, yeah, and budget.
We looked at,
yeah.
we looked at budget.
There,
And they're grouping that, I think we're grouping 5.
yeah,
Yes.
there. So similar size and similar the scope of funding and budget and such there. So, and there's a range there, but we didn't include the $8 million libraries or the that were far out of our sort of range in terms of the scope of that they would cover there. So from that, we looked at the sort of the average of director's salaries.
We looked at the minimum, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
We looked at the minimum and the maximum and the current range, and, you know, we looked at the medians on those. And then we made a decision for a offering range based on, I mean, it was fairly wide range for the median, for the minimum, maximum, but then we came up with an offering range that we proposed, and we presented that to John, and he thought it was a good proposal for. So yes. And I think that we have to, we need to vote on that, right?
I think
We do not need to, okay, if we do not need to, then we're not going to. But it is very much in line with the other libraries that we have the similar budget, and, you know, like, I think we're a category 5, or is that what we call it? You know, but we looked at 4, 5, and 6. We really looked at like 26 libraries. Yeah, we felt it was important to really understand. You know, we looked at 26, then we looked at, you know, ones that were within $1 million of our budget, to, you know, in size. And I appreciated having that document that you provided.
Relatively.
It was, I thought it was extremely.
Yeah, you get it.
You know, we might have missed something, but when we proposed that range to John, he thought it was very appropriate. And the other thing that we talked to him about a range that if we needed to offer a reload opportunity, what that number might be, and we hit it right in the middle. So I felt good about that, because I know that when we you know, put it out, you know, for the search to start, it's important for people to know what that range is. You know, so we get people that are truly interested in, we don't get somebody that thinks that, you know, they would expect to make $50,000 more than what we're offering, right? And then everybody would have a big disappointment. So.
Well, I'd like to put to say what the range is that we're proposing. make sure that we're all.
It will
all
be
in the same-
public
It's public,
knowledge once
yeah,
you,
it's
once
public
it gets
information.
posted, but
Yeah.
that's, I don't know what it is myself. I can't counsel you on whether it's.
Because you guys are running the committee and you guys are looking for data and I have. so
Okay,
I don't
okay, and
know what this-
So, and that's fair enough, Jen,
Yeah.
yeah. I did, I ran the numbers and then Karen and Rich actually, then I reran the numbers and showed them my methodology, and we talked about the methodology, and we worked the numbers together, and so.
We got rid of some libraries. We brought other
Right,
libraries in.
we spent a significant amount of time looking at what we thought would be applicable, so. And then I was, I think that we're fairly confident with what John came back and had to say, so.
You will have to obviously vote on the person you select and their salary.
Okay.
Yeah, because we'll be more involved later in the
Yes,
process. Right now, you guys are laying the groundwork.
Laying groundwork.
So I'm hoping within, really the next couple of weeks that we can actually get it announced, John getting out there and really looking for the website. So we appreciate the input from the staff, for sure. I think it's really important. We want everybody to feel like that, this is their library and they have some input and where to go. So please answer, Jen. Okay.
Okay, any questions about that? Questions? Okay, employee retention.
Yeah, I'm just gonna give you some information. We've been talking about, not talking about, we've been, it's out there. I've been thinking about it, we've been working on it. How do we retain employees when in the current environment? Both with COVID being a factor and the supply of primarily librarians, as well as a supply of people that can be our clerks and be effective at that. So I have on the top memo is where we're at right now, what we're thinking of possible tweaks, big tweaks. There's other tweaks that will be softer tweaks that are included in this second document that has information. Sorry, it printed weird. But it has other information from the Society of Human Resource Management. That's kind of like the ALA of human resources. And this, Stacy put it together in a couple of hours today, so it's a little bit, Heather Stacy put it together. It's a little. It's just information for you to see what other things are being looked at. Primarily, the first thing is salary, which we've been working on this past year. And with the, do you have it? You don't have it?
Yeah, I've had it. And I haven't even moved you.
Yeah, but
Yes.
yeah.
Well, I have lots of things with paper clips. So I want this bank stuff. It's all right, just go ahead and talk to me. So then I have it alone. I mean, it didn't walk away and like I said, I haven't moved.
First thing is salary, and we did this past budget make some big improvements on that. And maybe a need for a tweak or two in a couple of salaries that have just come to my attention. And we can talk about that. Okay, next month or the month after that, depending on how things fall. And then there's the other things that are important to employees. which primarily is health insurance. We do have health insurance, pretty good. And it's also available for families, if a person has a family when they're, you know, an employee here, they will have coverage. Many libraries just have coverage on the employee, and then family is covered if they pay for the premium or perhaps more. Some aren't even covered. So in my opinion, we're ahead of the game on health insurance as well as dental and vision. I will say that it's not as good as we had with the township, but the township one was expensive, and it still is expensive, and it's premium. Yeah, it is what it is, but this is still good insurance. Right now, these things on the front are areas that we had some exit. We did implement exit interviews recently. And they've been two things that really popped out at me, or even discussions with the people that left. One was regarding vacation, and the other one was something I saw in the actual form, was holiday pay for the part-time professionals. They don't get it right now. And I think they should.
So, okay, so we don't do holiday time for part-time professionals. Are they?
We don't have that many, just to give you a context, we don't have it that many part-timers right now, professionals. Librarians, let's put it that way, librarians. So it's not
And
as,
that's was my next question. What's considered a non-professional and a professional?
someone with a master's degree.
Okay,
Or other library experience. Could be like a library specialist. For instance, like Mary Carr was a teacher. She didn't have her degree, but she had a lot of valuable experience, and she would be,
so are the part-time professionals hourly or salary?
part-timers are. It's a little different. Business
It is,
operations
and
is
that's why I'm
huge.
asking these
Very-
questions, because
yeah,
I've never
it's-
worked in a government entity.
Yeah, it's
right?
different, and in a lot of places. Yeah, and we're not unions. Right, so that makes a big difference. Waterford for a long time had no part-time employees because they couldn't. So. And
They only
then
had full-time employees.
librarians.
So how many part-time professionals do we have?
Right now, three.
Oh,
What do they-
two and one,
Two.
and one open.
And this again, we're gonna talk
That
about it
would
next
include-
month.
That
but-
wouldn't include our HR person either, right?
Right.
Our part-time HR person.
That's correct. Just the fourth one,
So it would be included.
before, yeah,
Okay,
it would be.
because I would
And
think,
Heather,
I would
actually,
consider
Heather
that a
also-
professional position.
Anybody with, anyone, let's say with, I hate to say college degree, but a certain level of,
Well, that's why I'm asking.
yeah,
if
in
we-
management or
You know, what, that's why I was asking. what's
anybody, any
considered.
clerk is hourly clerk, and everybody else would be considered professional.
Okay.
Feel like
And we
need
can
to-
talk about it some more, just so we get
No,
an
that's fine.
understanding, after,
You know, I know other places that if they're a permanent part-time employee,
Mhm.
they are included in holiday pay. But I don't think we have that term here, permanent part-time employee.
Usually anybody that's hired is gonna be permanent, except
Right.
for that one person that was hired as a, wasn't budgeted, but a need was
Mhm.
seen, and Jen's getting hungry.
Okay.
You know, I don't know, how long ago was it that we worked on this, Rich? 8 years ago? that we-
Yeah, it's been
a while.
it's been a long time.
Okay.
So
So,
it's definitely worth the exercise, even if we don't change anything, but it's worth going through the process and,
yeah, the 2 weeks of vacation prorated and higher is another recommendation, at least 2 weeks.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, the township recently changed their policy to include that, and many other places are,
Excellent.
and it has been a,
It would be, I would think it would be hard to retain an employee. So
they're not too
it's
happy
not-
when they,
yeah, it's not even negotiable. I think it's just a need.
Mhm. Okay. And then the other one is combining the vacation and personal business days, so that one, it's a little easier to administer, and two, it may be more, some people, I guess,
What do you mean by combined personal and vacation?
like for instance, when,
So someone gets 2 weeks of vacation and 3 days of personal, what is
and it'd be,
just 15 days?
no, it'd be 2 weeks, 14 plus 3, 17 days. However they want to use it, other than sick. Sick is separate. I know some places don't have sick anymore. You just take it off as a,
Okay,
as a
so
salary
you, so
person.
you have 2 weeks of vacation is considered 14 days. Okay.
well,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
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 Oh, I know. I'm thinking this is a great place to work.
No, 10 days, 10 days.
Okay.
And then if you're part-time, then it's prorated based on your hours.
Okay.
You work.
And those hours are usually set and they're not fluctuating, but
Yeah, they're set, and then we do have a really spiffy, like, a better way, it's not funny. A good benefit in the way we schedule, and this is in agreement with the full-timers like this. They work 4-day weeks, for 1 day, 1 week is 4 days, the next week is 6 days, so they get a long weekend every 2 weeks.
awesome.
And it kind of,
Okay.
you know, I like it.
I think those, yeah, and so, but part-time professionals do get paid vacation today.
Yes, and they get sick and they get
Mhm.
professional business. So
And we're gonna talk about this more next meeting.
unless anybody has, if you have more input, please see me, and then I'll have a policy for you next time.
Is there any other?
Well, I'm sorry, I know that Jen is hungry, but I'm just.
We're gonna talk about this next week.
Okay.
So you have, if you want to know more, then you can do
Okay.
it so that we don't,
Okay, so my other question is, part-time or paid time off for part-time clerks, would that be approved?
well, yeah, we haven't talked about this.
Okay, all right, so.
That's
it's
a
just-
little more,
Okay.
I have not been able to get really good information on how different libraries do that. They're not sharing. And usually they're very good shared. Well, I haven't explicitly asked for it.
Okay.
And I will.
Yeah, we want to retain employees, we want good employees who want to stay.
Yeah.
For sure.
Everybody's trying to do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
We gotta do what we
Yeah,
gotta
and so there's gonna have to be some perks that maybe we don't have today that we could be expected for. And if we can afford it in our budget. You think it'll help us with that?
Sometimes, anytime you give additional time off, then you have to
That's-
get another person or
Yeah.
or whatever. So that's the other side of the coin, but anyway.
So is there any more discussion on
Jen.
employee retention? Okay, are there any other subjects that we missed? Is there a motion to be presented?
Oh, I'm not making-
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I will second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it.
Aye.
Thank you, thank you.
The official time of the is 8:20 or
I bet it
18.
Apple says.
Okay.
Okay, so just off